Joseline'S Cabaret, Texas, episode 5 review slash recap. Now, I'm really not playing that song after Domino that she keeps using as the intro song to the episode. And it's like, I like the way you are. It sounds like something that would play in like a skating rink. That's probably the best song Joseline ever made. She needs to be pushing that song. So we were left with Kay, Rose, Hennessy, and Isis, and they had the four-way tie, and Ricardo and Joseline had to decide who they were sending home. So they sent Kay home, but Joseline was just like, oh, I feel bad. I like Kay. And obviously, as you can see from this picture below, Kay comes back before the end of the episode. So Joseline is in her confessionals like, oh, I really think Kay is pretty, and I think she has the personality for the cabaret. But Ricardo says she wasn't the best dancer, but like, I'm hurting right now behind it. Joseline let them know that tomorrow Ricardo's going to come to the house to do rehearsal, and they also going to go do this obstacle course so they could just try to get their bodies right and their stamina up. Diamond is like, as soon as I heard about an obstacle course, I just know I'm screwed. I guess maybe she feel that way because she had just had the baby and stuff, but I think she'll be fine. So remember I said she didn't give Raven the house mom title directly. So today she asks who wants to be the new house mom because Wet Wet is gone. Andrea decided to volunteer. Raven wasn't actually speaking up that much and she was standing right next to her. Because I'm like, are you girls not realizing Wet Wet wasn't competing for the $50,000 because she was a house mom. She just got her check for being the house mom and coming to film. So are you guys going to be in that position if you take the job, or are you still going to be competing for the 50K? So Joseline told Andrea, you could have the job, but you better keep up with your dancing because you're an OG and you was doing some bad moves up there. I saw you. And she was like, I'm going to go home and practice. So the next day we see Queen Envy and Chinks talking, and she just asked Chinks how she felt about the eliminations. And Chinks was like, I don't really feel like it was Kay's time to go. I feel like she wasn't really given a fair chance, blah, blah, blah. Now, I don't know if Kay was really a good dancer, but Chinks said that she was. And basically that vote wasn't based off dancing. It was based off of who likes who. If it was based off of dancing, Ocean should have went home. So Isis and Envy, Erica come and join the table, ask them what they're talking about. So Chinks repeated herself in front of Isis and Envy as far as saying that she didn't feel like Kay should have went home. Isis asked Chinks, was Kay her friend? And she was like, no, I just vibed with her that one day, but I wouldn't say we was besties. Like, I don't know her like that. Envy, Erica gonna say, oh, what is their relationship for real? Because she also had a problem with the fact that I fought Kay. She don't gotta know her to just know that the shit that you did was weird. Talking about you want to fight somebody because they said they prettier than you. Or they the prettiest girl in the house, actually, because she didn't even single you out. Because she didn't care about you. Nobody did. Chinks, like, I really don't give a fuck. Like, I'm just cordial with everybody in the house. Like, she not here to make friends. She here to dance, which is what she should be here for. So we see the girls rehearsing a little bit. Danny talking about she can't get the chemistry with these girls. She want them to go home. Is it her? It probably is you. And then when they sit down, Oceans basically explains how she was crying. And she's kind of intimidated because Joseline has a lot of beautiful and talented girls this season. And it's like an eye-opener. She's realizing she's in a real competition. And she should have showed out way more than she did for her first time performing in front of Joseline. So she took it to heart. Girl, get your shit together. What you thought you was going to come in here with a bunch of wet-wets? And I guess Danny and Andrea was right. You was going to need them down the line. Because now Ocean's talking about, I need to go make up with Danny and Andrea as soon as possible so they can help me learn the steps. Now, this whole conversation had me confused. Joseline came in with Andrea talking about somebody's telling men what's going on in this house. I guess people from the clubs they work in. So Andrea says somebody called her, told her that she got punched. And they were like, are you good? I heard you're fighting. Like, what's going on over there? Andrea was like, how do you know I'm fighting? They said somebody named Chris. So when Andrea heard the name Chris, she said she thought about all the girls who worked at Area 29, which I think narrowed it down to Lexi, Chinks, Rose, and Hennessy. So Joseline asked Andrea behind the scenes who did she specifically think it was out of the four girls, and she must have said Lexi. So now Lexi is like confronting Andrea, like, why would you say it was me? Andrea tried to say she didn't say it, and Joseline was like, oh, you didn't say that? Don't get chokeslammed like Raven did last season, lying about shit you said when I'm asking you a question. Lexi, Chinks, Rose, and Hennessy all deny it. So Joseline's like, nobody's taking responsibility. Who's going to take responsibility? So Andrea was like, well, I take responsibility for answering that phone call. That's it. And Rose was like, I feel like she's making shit up or she's going crazy. Now everybody's like, Andrea's losing her mind. Joseline's like, this is the third time I told you you're losing your mind. Andrea was all like, oh, we could all call back together. We could all call back together. And nobody responded to that part, though. So I am confused about the situation, but if I have to take a guess, Andrea is either lying and was put up to do this or just made it up on her own, or it was Hennessy, because out of the four, she was the quietest. So Joseline tells them that she's been looking while they've been rehearsing, and she's going to take a few girls to the recording studio with her and Ballistic to get ready for the first performance. So she chooses Rose and Oceans. Rose really wasn't pleased, but she was like, whatever. And obviously Joseline really has a liking for Oceans because she's willing to be a lapdog. And she's just telling her how she's so pretty. She likes her body. She likes her face. And she just feels like she's a good fit as far as the look for the cabaret. So she tells them, I might bring another person, but I'll be right back. Let me think about it. So she walks out. And when she goes outside, she goes in the car to get Kay. So Jocelyn was like, at the end of the day, it's my show. I wanted Kay to come back, so she's coming back. So Jocelyn is like, oh, I thought it was funny since they was calling you Jigsaw. So I got you a tricycle and I want you to get on the tricycle and pull up on them bitches on the tricycle like Saw. And tell them that I'm coming with Jocelyn to the recording studio to listen to the new set. So Kay is the last girl going to the recording studio, as you can see down there. Jocelyn talking about, oh, I wouldn't have did that. I would have told myself, F me and F this cabaret. But she went along with my idea. I'm so surprised. Girl, no, you not, because you know all these girls be lapdogs and they let you do whatever to them. So when Kay came rolling in on the tricycle, somebody was like, I told y'all she was here. I told y'all she was here. Isis was in her confessional like, okay, like, what is she here for? And Hennessy was like, I would have never came rolling in on that tricycle. Y'all wouldn't have got that satisfaction out of me. Hennessy and Rose might be the least lapdogs because they didn't go through this whole audition process and everything that Jocelyn puts the girls through to get on the show. At least from what we know. Because like I said, it's also a possibility that they did audition and Jocelyn told them to come to that club and stage it as if they just got bought in the house so easily, you know? So Rose, Oceans, and Kay are bonding in the car on the way to the studio. They're asking Kay how she got back into the house. She explains to them like Jocelyn wanted her back, and that's that. And they were like, they feel like they could give her a chance now. Rose was like, she graduated from Jigsaw to Kay with me. And then they started talking about how they felt like all the rest of the girls didn't congratulate them or clap for them when Jocelyn chose them as the ones to go to the studio. They were like, it was real quiet, a lot of stink faces, and they feel like it's jealousy going on. So at first, Oceans was like, well, I don't want to say no names, but I feel like some of the girls aren't trying that hard. And Rose was like, no, you need to say names. So Ocean said Chinks. Kay was like, girl, why are you bringing up somebody that I'm cool with? Like, and she was like, she feel like Chinks is doing her big one as far as personality and fighting and stuff, like making her mark, but not as far as learning the dances and being a part of the cabaret. So we saw Ricardo rehearsing with the girls, of course, being very hard on them, telling them they can't dance, they ain't got no stamina, they need to work on everything, child. But by the end of the rehearsal, they did say they had a good time, and Ricardo said he saw a lot of improvement in some of the ladies. So Rose, Oceans, and Kay get to the studio. They get introduced to Ballistic, and then Jocelyn takes them in the back. So Jocelyn was asking who was saying I knew it when Kay came in. Remember I told y'all somebody was like, I knew Kay was here. I knew she was coming back. And Rose was like, I think it was Raven. So Jocelyn asked all of them who they think should go home. Kay said Envy Erica, because instead of focusing on the dancing, she's trying to make a storyline out of Kay with the whole saying she want to fight her because she said she's the prettiest girl in the house. Rose said Queen Envy needs to go, and Jocelyn was like, why? She could dance. And Rose was like, I know. And Jocelyn was like, see you, petty. So now the girls are on their way to the obstacle course. So Danny was like, all the girls do different stuff on tour. Everybody has their talent. Like, I go crazy with the pole and the choreography, but other girls are just on stage eating cat. So she said the point is to just be the best at whatever your talent is. So Queen Envy was like, oh, so what do I have to do to be in the group who gets to just eat cat? Then Danny keeps saying she used to be a ninja before she was selling this cat. Girl, what? See, they be doing too much sometimes on this show. I really can't. On this network as a whole, actually. So Erica and Jayla both said that they didn't vote Kay out and they did feel bad that she got beat up and sent home the same day, but they didn't really like that she got sent home and then brought back because that's not going to keep happening. So it's like, they didn't say it, but it's kind of giving favoritism low-key. And it clearly is. Jocelyn likes the girl. Y'all want to hear something funny that I peeped when I was looking at the credits? Why is Matt Cash an editor on Jocelyn's Cabaret? Matt Cash is that guy that does all the baddie songs. Shorty got everything she needs. She a body. What's the definition of a bad bitch? Like, is he a rapper or is he an editor or like Zeus? What's going on here? But back to what I was saying, they was talking about how Kay got eliminated and then brought back. And then Hennessy was like, oh, well, Jayla, she said she beat you up. And Jayla was like, she did not beat me up. And Hennessy was like, yeah, she came back to beat all y'all ass. And Jayla was like, see, you being messy. She probably didn't even say that. And I told y'all, Hennessy gave messy when I said, if I had to choose who was the person who was leaking information, either Andrea made it up or it was Hennessy. Out of the 4 girls, that was the possibilities. And Jayla was like, I rearranged her injections. They was all the way on the other side of her face. You gonna make me go in there and hit her again for no reason without saying nothing? Why would you even say something like this? And we supposed to be going to a team bonding activity. Hennessy said she kicked Ocean's ass and she kicked Queen Envy's ass. Ocean wasn't on the trailer. The sprinter. But Ocean's beat her up. Because remember, I was saying, I can't believe that white girl beat her up and she from the Bronx. And then she didn't win the fight with Queen Envy either. And Queen Envy told her, like, girl, you delusional. And Hennessy was like, we talked it through, so whatever. And it was like, girl, you lost. Rose was the only one who was winning, and Rose was the one who had Oceans leaking. So Hennessy was like, well, we could run our ones again. And Envy was like, that's fine. So then Queen Envy in her confessionals basically was like, I'm not going to do it right now because we on our way to an activity, but I think they going to fight again when they get back to that house. And then Hennessy turns to Neek, and she's like, oh, didn't you jump in? And she was like, yeah, I already told you I jumped in. And Hennessy was like, okay, but who fight did you jump in? And Neek was like, I really don't know. Either one of y'all could get it, like Rose or Hennessy. And like I said, I wasn't sure whose fight she jumped in either because it was all happening so fast. But I think it was Rose's. So Danny was just saying how she was so happy for all three of the girls who got to go to the studio. And when she said Rose, she was like, you know, that's your man's to Hennessy. And Hennessy was like, yeah, that's my man's, but I don't give a fuck. I'm supposed to be at that studio. And it was like, so you gonna fight your man's for your spot? And she basically was like, that's my bitch. But yeah, I don't know what Hennessy is on, but I guess she feel like she got to turn up because she not getting as much screen time and as much attention from Jocelyn as Rose is. And she was like, I'll fight her if that's my spot, because at the end of the day, she know I was supposed to be there. So Jayla was like, okay, well, I'm telling your friend. And Hennessy said she'll tell Rose all of this to her face and that she learned the dance before her. So the girls all get to the obstacle course. They're waiting for Jocelyn to get there along with Oceans, Rose, and Kay. So when they pull up, Oceans is like, oh, I'm really feeling like that girl right now. Her, Kay, and Rose are all on the defense, thinking the other girls are so worried about them. Jocelyn comes in with her Cocaine shirt, and Oceans comes in with her freaking hoodie tied around her face like she's about to square up with somebody. Like I said, nobody's thinking about you, girl. And then Rose is wigless, like Queen Envy said, with these Queen Latifah Cleo set it off braids. Like, what the fuck is wrong with them? Who told them that somebody wanted to fight them? So obviously Jocelyn is putting them against each other based on who has beef. So she puts Lexi Gold against Chinks. She puts Isis against Andrea, aka Voodoo. And she puts Kay against Envy Erica. So Chinks beat Lexi Gold bad. Chinks group already on the third girl. Isis done went, now Kay going. Lexi still going on the other side. So after Lexi finally finished on her side, Andrea went. Andrea did good. Then Envy Erica came, fell right on her face. So Chinks' team is winning. Then Envy and Raven both next to each other on the same part because they on opposite teams. And they both falling. Both can't get over this part. And remember, Raven, you was the one talking about you had all that stamina and you was going to do better than all these girls, right? But you falling all over the place. So the episode ends there, and we see that next week, they still going to be at the obstacle course, and Kay is going to tell Envy Erica, well, you want to fight me, so let's just fight. They're going to fight. Envy Erica is going to beat Kay up. She's going to have lumps and knots on her head again. Jocelyn was like, oh my God, get the paramedics, as soon as she got up. Queen Envy and Hennessy are also going to fight again, like I expected. Jocelyn is going to tell Andrea that there's nothing she likes about her right now, and she thinks she's full of shit. And Jayla is also going to expose what Hennessy said about Rose. And it looks like they're going to kind of get into it, but I think they might talk it out. Like, I don't necessarily think Rose and Hennessy going to get into it. But Neek and Hennessy are going to fight as well. So I will see y'all next week for episode 6 of Joseline's Cabaret, Texas. Bye.